Hello, my name is Minefiend. We're going to start a new world and we're going to call it Fiendland. Those of you who've watched my videos before will notice something different immediately in that this narration is being done in the editing process, not when I actually played the game. I just felt like relaxing and returning to Minecraft and just playing. I started a new world, hard difficulty, not hardcore, and just wanted to play, but I also wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to try and do something I've never really been good at, despite playing Minecraft since before there was a Nether. Uh, I could do the technical side. I'm not good at building pretty, and this world I wanted to try and make a pretty world. I intend to try and build a city and build nice things there. We'll see how that goes. I've just done what you call marking the spawn, and I've heard it referred to as the spawnument, which I think is rather funny. As I start to do the basics of Minecraft, punching trees to get the wood, I'll tell you that this video actually, it's taken me about 2 weeks of real life to make, and it's not because I did a lot. It's because I found it so difficult to do. I had to do it so slowly and learn as I was going, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we get to the house. But I spent the first little bit of the world walking the earth, trying to find as many resources as possible, and I'll just show you a little bit of that now. As I gather my first lot of wood, you'll see that I'm leaving the bottom block in place. There's a reason for that. It's because as I go around to chop down a few trees while the leaves despawn and saplings go, and I try to get some supplies, I'll then know where to go back to look for the saplings, and then also I can cut that block out and replace the tree. So try and keep the world as pretty it was when I found it. However, it does another thing for me doing this, is it fills me with nostalgia. All the way back in 2012, I watched a Minecrafter called Narlo the Naked Gnome, and he had a modded Let's Play of Minecraft where he played in the character of this gnome who was shipwrecked on an island. And on this island there were fairies, and the fairies got very angry if he chopped down the trees, so he would leave the last log to try and appease these fairies. It's a hilarious Let's Play. If you watch it and you see the part where he meets a squirrel, which is the most vicious, angry squirrel you've ever seen, and oh, he struggles with it. I still remember it with great fondness, and it was through chatting and leaving comments about that series that I met my second brother, and we've been the best of friends ever since. Well, that's a long time now. As you can see here, I'm marking the world spawn. I call it signing. I like to sign things so I know when I did them. But for some reason, I don't know why, but my brain wasn't working, and I thought I was in Minecraft 1.20.1. I wasn't. It was Minecraft 1.20.4. But I will change that because now you can edit signs. What a wonderful feature. I then went on to gather some cobble and some stone before finding myself a few extra saplings. The whole goal of this part really was to get as many saplings from different types of trees as possible. So I managed to get the birch, and then I found myself on the first night in this little gap passage between, well, through a hillside. Didn't really know what to do, so I thought, well, I'll just take the time and gather as much stone as I can. I even went to mark the site of my first night, and I could hear these zombies around outside, and I also spotted this little guy here who's a drowned, who's right on the edge there, and being a bit out of practice I thought, oh, he's fine down there, he won't bother me, but I forgot it's night time, and of course in night time they get a bit more aggressive, and he came for me, really nearly taking me out. But I got my monster hunter advancement for the first mob killed. When morning came, I needed to heal myself, and to do that I needed food. So I had little choice but to gather the fish. I'm going to try on this playthrough to be as kind to animals as possible, so I don't really want to farm cattle for leather if I can help it. I don't want to kill them for food, but I had a little choice here, so I thought, well, fish will do. At the moment I chose to get it by using my axe, but in future I'll probably get it with fishing, using a fishing rod, so that's not quite the same thing as killing cows and everything for food. Just a couple of hundred blocks along the coast from where I spawned, I found this lovely area. It's part flower forests and hills, and it was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted something that had a little bit of a slope in elevation to it, that came down to the ocean, so that I could build a port town, and this area just seems perfect for what I want. So this will be where I start to make my home, but until then I'm going to keep wandering to find as many resources as possible. Still at the site of my future hometown though, I found this pit, and it really is a pit. It goes down and down, and it's got these wonderful columns in it. I'd never found a cave like this before, but it's quite a big scary place, although it should be useful for getting resources from. Because I knew this area was where I wanted to set up home, I found a little bit of an island, a small beach, where I set up a chest and a small base, and then set off on a boat to head up around the coast, again trying to find as many different saplings as possible. So night 2 found me out on the ocean in a boat, and I was scouring the cliffs trying to see if I could see any iron up there. I just wanted a little bit of iron. But I really struggled. It took me quite a while before I could find any. As I passed a swamp, I saw a slime, and I thought, oh great, an early chance to get slime balls. So I came out onto the land and was suddenly swarmed with spiders and zombies. So I jumped back, dropped my axe, and then got into the water. And as I was beginning to sail away, I suddenly thought, oh hang on, here's a chance to try and get string from the spider, get myself a fishing rod, because that will then solve the problem of not wanting to kill the fish. So that's what I did then. I stood my ground and fought the spider. And as you can see, very lucky, it dropped me 2 string that I needed straight away. Once the beach was clear and I had the chance, I made a fishing rod before hopping back into my boat, where I thought I'll spend the quiet rest of the night fishing, which is quite enjoyable and relaxing. Myself and Nalo often spend time fishing in Minecraft. I got a nice little bit of food there doing it, but I even had the chance to take a little bit of a selfie and say hi Minefiend. Strange seeing my steampunk skin after all this time. And in the morning then I climbed into the swamp and had a look around, where I noticed spruce trees in the distance, but still on the lookout for iron. I thought I'll take the high road round, see if I could find any, but I couldn't. So all I could get was some coal while I was here. I couldn't see the skeleton that was hiding in the hole. I could hear him, but I didn't know where he was. And then when I got to the top of the hill to look at the spruce, still looking on the walls for iron though while I'm still doing it, not finding any. But I could see from there then that across there's spruce, and then there was dark oak. So that was another 2 of my saplings checked off my list. I then spent most of the next day collecting spruce and hoping to get as many saplings as possible. Once you've got 4, then you're doing pretty well and you can increase your selection. After which I moved on to the dark oak forest, which was a bit further away. And now dark oak isn't always as nice with its sapling drop, and it took a while. The day had gone, so I was a bit scared standing right next to the dark oak forest, so I decided I'll go out onto the lake that's there, and as before I'll spend the night in a bit of productivity fishing, which is what I proceeded to do. As you can see, there was a skeleton on the coast. But during the late into the night, I'd spotted some pumpkins, and I thought I'll do a lightning rush and go and get some, because I just need 1 to give me the 4 pumpkin seeds. So I quickly grabbed what I could and then dashed back between the zombies and skeletons. where on the lake there was a fox that had come out to fish as well. He'd been inspired by me, so I boated back to where he was and set up ready for fishing again. I was disturbed by this guy during the night. I think he was trying to sell me this Nautilus shell, but in the end I got it anyway. Then it was a case of collecting the dark oak saplings, and I realised then that the biomes were getting cooler where I was going, and I wanted to try and head to find jungle. So I thought, well, I'll head back to spawn and go in the opposite direction because that way was warmer than here. So after spending a night on the beach on what I'm going to call Starter Island, I thought I'll just check in this giant cave to see if there's any iron there because I haven't been able to find any, and luckily yes, I've managed to get a couple of pieces. All I wanted had been 2 pieces of iron, so I'd have enough to make some shears to be able to get some wool to get a bed, and then I could pass the nights quicker. But that's 4 nights before I finally found iron. I don't think I've ever gone that long in Minecraft without it. But as you can see, this cavern is impressive. So I just lit up this little shelf here and then decided to get on with my journey. So after quickly smelting up the 2 pieces of iron, I could make some shears, and yes, finally, after about 4 nights, bed finally acquired. So sticking with my theory, I headed south this time, and yes, I was soon rewarded by the fact that the biomes got warmer. I went through the savannah near where I spawned and soon saw this savannah village. There wasn't really any loot in here worth taking, but I did spend my time protecting a few of the villagers by imprisoning them within their homes, like any responsible Minecrafter should do. But then it was back to the boat and carried on. At least I know now where I can get villagers if I need them. And then I was struck by 2 things. 1, the amazing badlands in the distance, but 2, this half-buried shipwreck. It was really impressive. I really like how it got itself lodged right in there. It's a really good find, and while I'm digging at it I'll be able to get some sand as well, which is always a bonus. Just check there's nothing around, even though there's a mast sticking through. I had to do a lot of digging to get into the chests, but yep, I got some nice loot out of there, at least some iron and some emeralds. But the front end of the ship was actually buried in stone. Goodness knows how hard they'd had to hit to do that. But then carrots, wonderful, wonderful carrots. I love the carrots for villagers. Fantastic find. But there was only the 2 chests that I could find. I couldn't find anything else by digging, so I then stored most of the good stuff into the chest boat. Chest boats are a wonderful addition to the game, although they do make it a bit interesting getting around because you can't just destroy your boat and skip over a bit of land then. But past the Badlands I found this desert, and I hopped out to get the cactus. I thought, yep, I need cactus, and then I noticed in the distance there you can see mangrove, so that's the next stop. Mangroves are a very interesting wood. They're a great addition to the game, but oh my goodness, how they must be a pain to harvest and cut down and collect all the stuff from. I like the wood's great. The tree itself, what a nightmare. But at least I got the opportunity here to collect my first ever mangrove and get some vines as well while I was doing it. And leaves are something I'm going to use a lot of as well. I don't think I'll be using the mangrove leaf. My leaf of choice will be the jungle leaf, but it's always good to get a supply of them. And I happily collected some mud. Mud is a game changer. Mud is going to be really useful because it now means you can harvest things like sugarcane through it, because it's a bit like soul sanding. It's slightly lower than a block. And right next to the mangrove tree was this desert village again with the camel, my first camel sighting. And so I quickly did what I always do with the village, is look for ways to protect the villagers. And by protect them, of course, you know what I mean. I mean, say, get in your houses. There could be zombies coming tonight, so lock them in. The more you can protect, the better. And then after that, with no loot really there, I was collecting some more cactus. Out in the desert collecting it, when I noticed there in the distance, jungle trees. So that's the next lot to collect. Only took a little swim across the river, but it was going night as I got across. So the bed came in useful now. Such a relief, I don't have to spend all night fishing. And on the way to the jungle, of course, there's this ruined nether portal there, which has got a chest. And what's the loot that I find inside it? A silk touch pickaxe. Fantastic. And then after that, it was a case of just add to my sapling collection. Jungle wood is superb for what I'd call the bulk woods you need, like sticks and doing things. The other woods are decorative. Jungle wood is your wood that you need to do with all the main things with, that you don't want to use the nice looking wood for. And of course this was a sparse jungle part, so there was bamboo as well, and melons. It's just a really successful trip here. After gathering some sand, I managed to find a desert temple, but unfortunately it didn't really have any sort of loot in it at all. The only thing that was of any use really was a Power 3 enchanted book. I soon forgave it though, because right behind the desert temple I found this azalea tree, and dug down into the cavern to find a small lush cave, quite deep down. It took a lot of digging to get down to it, but lush caves are worth it because of the wonderful moss. I really like moss. So it was a bit nerve clenching going out there, because I was waiting for creepers to appear out of there, because they'd love it in those camouflaged caves. But I managed to get the moss, and then a little bit further across I could see, oh look, glowberries hanging from the ceiling. They took a little bit more digging to get down to though, but soon I got there. And then it was a case of, what on earth do I throw out to collect the glowberries? I've been getting quite a lot of nice stuff on this little trip. The thing with that, as long as you keep the moss, everything else you can get once you bone meal moss. So I swapped some bushes for the glowberries, and then it was time to head home with my inventory full. So it was a case of jumping back in the boat and sailing all the way back round to Starter Island and unloading my goodies into my chest. It's been a very productive trip. I then got to work trying to gather enough resources to start building. I had to plant farms so I'd have food to eat, and carrots to breed villagers with when I got ready for that. But I wanted to get as much resources together as possible, as much wood, as much of everything, so that when I started to build my house I would be able to just get straight on with it. I have a terrible habit of starting to build things when I haven't even got enough resources to do it. But while I was waiting for the trees to go, I was exploring around, and I found this fracture in the earth, and if you look you'll see it's inhabited. But I thought, that's not a problem, let me deal with that. My new shield was coming in handy. I thought I'll let them fight amongst themselves, but no, one of them was no interest in fighting back, he was just interested in trying to kill me. Still thought I'm okay here, I'm doing alright, and then that whack, double hit from both skellies and the zombie at the same time. So it was a case of run, 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 mind being run. Not quite as uber as I thought I was. But I'd found a spot that looked like the place I wanted to build the house on the hillside, so it's a nice view from there. Got a bit of everything. I've got the hill, little bit of hill behind me, and what will be the town descending down in front of me, down towards the ocean. So hopefully, if I get it built, I'll have everything I need. And I do have a thing of treating bees a bit like I treat villagers, in that I try to get them inside the hives and then shut them in. I'm just marking where my home's going to be, so I'll be able to judge it from there. And then there was so many beehives everywhere in this, with it being all flowers and everything. I must have trapped dozens of them in the hives or in the nests while I was collecting wood and all sorts of birch, oak, spruce. And after wandering around for a while trapping in as many bees as I could find, I decided I've got quite a bit of wood, let's get some stone now. So I found this little hollow through the ground and decided this was a decent enough place to start mining for cobblestone. Got quite a bit. And then when it started to go night time, I thought I'll just sleep the night away, only to find that I couldn't because there were monsters nearby. I had been hearing a skeleton for a while, so I assumed he was just in a cave just underneath me. So after a bit of a night's sleep on a ledge, which wasn't that comfortable, I started trying to track him down. I was listening for him because I play with headphones. It makes directional finding a bit easier when you're paying attention. And then that appeared. Cobblestone. That can only mean one of two things, but with the skeleton as well, yep, it's a dungeon. I think skeleton dungeons are the most prized of all dungeons because you can get arrows and bone meal from them, not just real XP or strength. And I have to admit, it did feel good giving the skeletons a few whacks to pay back from earlier on when they chased me away. But it did take a bit of conquering this. There was a lot in there, which there would be because I'd been there mining stone for a while. So no wonder there were quite a few in the caves. And there was a name tag in there, beetroot seeds. And then in this one, there was an Aqua Affinity book and an enchanted golden apple. Quite a good loot find there. Very special indeed. So then I decided, well, if I'm going to be mining for stone anyway, I might as well mine stone around from the dungeon now and clear it back to the size I'll need when I make it into a mob farm. But it suddenly occurred to me that this isn't that deep. I'm only a few blocks in, so I thought, oh, I'll just see how close I am to the surface. And that's it, about 5 blocks. So that's going to get completely excavated and open to the surface. But then it was back to grinding wood and stuff on Starter Island. And while I was gathering resources, my friend Nalo came online, so we went to play Deep Rock Galactic. I'd shut Minecraft down, we had a good game in that session, and a couple of hours later I came back to find that it hadn't closed down, it was running in the background. No idea how that happened. But I'd been killed by this drowned here. I must have been standing here beside the water, and somehow he'd come on and killed me. So that was my first death. AFK to a drowned. So after a session of mining coal and everything to cheer myself up, I decided to go on a little bit more in exploration. I still needed a few things. I hadn't got these sweet berry bushes, so I went back to the tiger to get them. And I also realised there was a few other things that needed collecting. For example, I'd passed over this shipwreck when I was looking for spruce saplings. So I thought I'll try and get down and see if it's got anything in the chests. And it did. It proved worthwhile doing. As you can see, there was some iron, some gold, and a few precious emeralds. But best of all, of course, there was the treasure map, which led to this chest. where I got a Heart of the Sea. Still in the mood to explore, I realised I'd gone north and south along the coast, but I hadn't gone to the west of my base. So looking from the hill, I saw quite an interesting hill in the distance, and when I got close to it I could see that it's got cherry biome on top of it. Fantastic. I think that's the last wood I need, that's not a nether wood. So it was a quick trip over there. It's beautiful, these cherry trees. I really do like the inclusion of them. Not necessarily sure I like pink wood, but I do like the trees and the leaves and the blossoms on the ground. And looking from the back of the wood, I could see a ruined nether portal in the distance near a jungle with bamboo in it. And then to the right I could see a village. So I took the time to gather the wood and saplings from the cherry biome before going over to the village to say hello to the villagers there. And of course, the way I like to say hello to villagers is to make sure they are definitely safe from zombies. Just block the doors. Not imprisoning them. No, keeping them safe. That's all. Just keeping them safe. And then, of course, after that, it was across to the nether portal to see whether there was any good loot there. But not really. Golden chest plate, protection 1 and an efficiency 4 hull. That was all. So I took the loot back home. I've got quite a bit on Starter Island now. I've been farming hard for resources. So I think we're nearly ready to start building the home at last. And so I started on Christmas Day to build the house. Christmas Day 2023. It took me several days worth of playing by this point. I think I was actually on Minecraft Day 43 of the world. But I started off by putting down some dirt to make sure the house could go where I wanted it to start. I wanted it to have a bit of a look out over the raise there down the hill. And then it's a case of counting out the spaces with the blocks before putting in the wooden pillars. I actually put in spruce pillars to begin with, and just complete smooth stone. I'd had to smelt all this stone back to get it, cobblestone back to get it to smooth stone. But I found I wasn't really keen on the spruce pillars. I thought on the ground floor what we're going to do, we're going to have dark oak to make it look a bit older, I suppose, a bit more weathered than the spruce. But I always like to have overhangs on buildings because living in England there's a lot of Tudor buildings, and Tudor buildings had these second floors that come out a little bit over the top of the first floors. So on the second floor here, I put spruce in, and I was trying to decide what to do with the crossbeams. Did I want them stripped dark oak or stripped spruce? I do a lot of that. I put down a couple of variants and try and decide which I like on this. It's not something I've done a lot of before. I've always struggled with building pretty, so I really took my time with this. And I mean, by my standards, that's a long time. I mean, it's probably a week's worth of a bit of real life build for me to get this house to the sort of state. But I wanted to be able to work on it a little bit, so I put the beginnings of my stone parapet around, because this is going to be, the Lord's house, I suppose, my house over at the village, so it's going to be a little bit grand. It's going to be a little bit. But then to work on the second floor, I needed to be able to get to the outside so I could do things, and so I put in a ring of dirt all the way around, a platform of dirt all the way around. Then these guys showed up, and I thought, oh well, let's go and deal with them. A bit more confident perhaps than I should have been, because there was quite a few of them, surprisingly. And I'm sure one or two of those bows had a bit of piercing on them, those crossbows. It was quite a large group. And I'm trying to make sure as many of the men get hit by their own arrows as possible, I decided to withdraw a little bit and get my health regen back up and running. It's always quite satisfying with pillagers to get them to shoot their own teammates. I don't know why. It's a good way of avoiding getting the bad omen effect. And get the commander in between you and one of his own men, like I'm doing here. He will be killed by them. Like that. And then I can mop up the rest of them. The excitement out of the way, I could get back on with the tasks of getting the upper floor of the house built. Once I'd stripped the wood, I could then rearrange the direction of the logs to give a bit of texture. It's not something I've done really before. Again, this is all me experimenting, trying to make the building look a bit like it's aged, it's lived in, you know. Pieces have been broken and a little bit's been repaired here and a bit there, or aged and sagged here, and just to give it character. How successful that is, I'm not so sure, but I actually enjoyed the process. It was quite difficult for me, actually. I'm not a natural builder. I'm really not. But I found I enjoyed doing what I could do. And then, of course, once I'd got the building to a kind of shape I wanted, I had to have a look around at it from different angles. I decided to put a dark oak trim on the roof and then put a spruce roof on it. I actually ended up moving this whole thing up at least one block. I might have moved it up to because it was too low, so I cut the whole roof down and rebuilt it. These days you've got to put a lightning rod on your house if you want to protect any sort of wood, and it's a really good job I did. It's a really good job I did. But then it's back to texturing on the lower walls now. Now here you've got, I'm using andesite, I'm using stone brick, cracked stone brick, mossy brick, all to try and create this palette to make it look as though the walls are worn or older. Like I said, I'm not sure how successful I am, but it's definitely better than my usual standards. I feel I have improved a lot. Whether that means, you know, anything at all, really, considering how poor I was at it before, I don't know. but my standards, I think I'm quite happy with the improvements I've made, the getting better, and the time it took. Though it was ridiculous. I was at this for hours and hours over Christmas. But as you can see, the house has got quite a decent shape to it now. I'm not so sure about the colouring. I'm not so sure about the birch upper floor, but I'm just going to live with it. I actually managed to get a little bit of amethyst from a geode while I was digging out some stone, so I could make a spyglass. And here again, like everything else, you won't see most of it, but here I built this porch for the doorway out of spruce. And then I didn't like it, and later on I changed it back to dark oak. But here I had quite a heck of a rainstorm that developed into a thunderstorm. There you go. And, as you can see, it's getting worse, and it just really got into a bad storm, which I had to go upside and look at it upstairs and look, because I could hear these bangs. Oh, there you go. See, that's where I'm changing the porch. And I actually changed the stairs here as well. At one point the stairs went off to the left and the right going down before before you start to go down, I'm going to change those as well. But the noise from the lightning strikes was so loud, I thought I'll have to go up and see what's happening on the roof. I climbed up. As you can see, it was just coming dawn when it happened. There's skeletons around, but then bang, right there, lightning strikes straight onto the lightning rod. It's actually, you know, you can trap a couple of creepers near a lightning rod, you're going to be able to change them into charged creepers. But that was quite the storm. I just wanted to show it to you. I built a temporary, air quotes, sheep pen just to give myself access to a bit of wool so that I could put some carpets down, because until I've got a better solution I can hide lighting under carpet. Here you can see the wall around the perimeter of the house now that I'd built. And then I wanted to build bay windows. It's something I really like the look of, but I'd not done, and I was experimenting with it, and the way I'd put them here, I felt they worked, but they seemed a little on the smallish side. But I thought I'll build them and see how I go, see what they feel like after an hour or two. And I do like them. I like the design of putting the window panes out on the sides and then the full glass blocks to make it feel as though the glass is curved a little bit. But here I was checking whether or not spruce over the top of the window was better than dark oak. I got spruce on one side and dark oak on the other, and after looking at it from a distance I thought, yeah, I prefer the dark oak trim. The spruce is just a little bit too light for that sort of a viewpoint, really. I've got a marked out there for a pond. That's going to be where there's going to be a nice pond eventually. But after looking at it, thinking, yeah, they've got to go. It's better with the dark oak trim. And that's the good thing, really, is that I found that I was able to do that this time, which I've not really done before, is the try it and see. If I don't like it, change it, have a look at it. And then here you see I'm making the windows taller now and putting a little bit of a trim at the top as well, because I found that they were just too small. They weren't quite grand enough or big enough, I suppose, to do what I wanted them to do, really, or to feel how I wanted them to feel. So I adapted it, which is the thing that's taken me 10 years to figure out in Minecraft, is that yes, if you don't like something you can change it. But yeah, it feels much better having them this high now. And that mist block there meant having to break glass. Oh, I hate breaking glass. I always have done, right since early alpha. Now, interior design I found even harder than the exterior design. So to take a break from it, I thought, right, I'll come and build this nice tree in my garden. I let that tree grow naturally. I didn't sculpt it myself. I just let one grow. It grew across and almost through the window, the dormer window of the building. So I actually found I liked it like it is, and as it had this long branch stretching between it and the house, I thought it's the perfect place to put a swing seat. And this seems to work really nicely, actually. I'm really pleased with the design of this. I like how it looks. It seemed to come together nice and easy for me. And I did like the use of the oak trapdoors for the sides and the spruce for the back and the seat of it. But here's the chains to hang it from the actual branch now. Gosh, making chains hurts with the amount of iron you have to use. But I'm really pleased with this. I think this looks beautiful. I really like that. And so this is how it finally finished up at the moment now. There's still lots of work to do. Got to do the gardens and things like that. But I'm quite pleased with how it's come out, and I've got a starter house now that I can live in while I work on everything else. I think it's come out quite nice. It's got the 2 dormer windows in the roof line at the back and a nice little chimney. It's been difficult. It's taken a long while. It really has. But I am pleased with it, and it beats living in a cave or a dirt shack. That's the thing I was aiming for. Oh, hang on, there's some pillagers here again. Just give me a moment while I deal with these idiots. Right, I've got a temporary sheep pen here, and this path here, this road here, I'm going to call Sheep Pen Lane, because as cities evolve, they evolve over time, and they keep the names of what was originally there. So while the sheep pen will go, the houses will live on Sheep Pen Lane. These stairs I rebuilt because originally I had them going up one step here to here and then going off to the right and to the left to get up here, and then I decided no, I prefer it coming straight down from the doorway. As you can see, I've got details in the walls, got ivy now coming down the side of the building, bit of texture and everything. And then round the back here we have the cherry tree with the swing seat, which I absolutely adore. I'm really pleased with that. It's come out really nice. This is the area where I'm going to build a fish pond and have a nice little fish pond. But if you come inside, the first room hasn't really got much in it, but then there's the kitchen off to the right, and I'm pleased with this kitchen too. I really like this kitchen. I like the fact that on the left here I've got the herbs. These are all the different herbs and things. And we've got the little cooking area with the fire and the dinner bell. So it's even got a little working sink in there. It's got that's an infinite water source, the sink. And then here we've got a room, not sure what I'm going to do with it yet once I move the bee out of here. That's going to be Queen Bee. She's the first one I protected. And then up the staircase here into a room I'm not sure what I'm going to do with here yet. I might put in trophies, I might put in a reading room. Any suggestions you've got would be gratefully appreciated. And then this is the bedroom. I'm quite pleased with the interior decorating on this because interior design is not my thing really. I've got a desk there, got a bit of a wardrobe, a nice bed with some bookcases beside it, and some of the enchanted books I've got from fishing, and then a bit of storage. And then finally in the house we've got the attic. The attic is just full of clutter and junk at the moment. There's nothing in any of these chests, but here we've got a packing crate which is a composter with a trapdoor on. We've got an old wardrobe up here that's got some stuff in it, and then more crates and storage and boxes and even an old boat. Left this window open because I'm thinking of it as the window being open, that's all. And then you can climb up onto the roof and get a lovely view of the land. But out the front here I built an observation pillar so it can look at the place from a distance and see as it evolves over time. I'm going to leave this pillar here. There's Starter Island. That's all the infrastructure I built just to get myself enough resources to construct the house. But the house, like I say, I'm very pleased with. I think I've got something that will give me a good start in this world anyway now. It's taken a lot of time, a couple of weeks worth of real time to make, and a lot of stress and strain by my standards, but I've enjoyed it. So I'll just say I've been Mindfiend. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far. I do appreciate it. You guys as always have been wonderful, so I'll say bye for now.